how do I take a photo on one background and put it on a different one? So they're both open in these tabs here. And what I want to do is, of course, put the photo of the model on the photo of the background, the stock background from iStock. So I took this photo in the studio. This photo I downloaded from iStockphoto.com. And now we're just going to go ahead and take our move tool and we're going to pick up this entire image. You're not moving it yet, but you're going to drag your mouse all the way up to the tab. Don't let go until you drag it all the way down into the image, and then you can let go. Then you're going to get warnings, potentially. Hey, these aren't the same resolution. Is that okay? Yes. Hey, these aren't the same color space. Is that okay? Yes. Bring it in. So Photoshop was just doing a good job of telling me that these two photos don't match from the standpoint of one was shot at 16-bit on a Nikon camera, the other one wasn't. One was in, Pro RGB, the other one was in sRGB or something else, or Adobe RGB. So it's just letting me know all this technical things about why those two photos aren't the same. So now that's okay. We'll just go ahead now and use our zoom tool and we'll zoom in. And now you can see we're now working with two different photo layers. We have the background and we have layer 1, which is the model. Now, we can't move these around because the background always has to stay on the bottom. So I can't put the background on top even if I wanted to. But the way we can get around that is this little lock, which is locking it in place. We can drag that little lock to the trash of the layers. And now I can pick this layer up and put that on top if that's what I want it to do, but it's not. So let's go to layer 1, which contains our model. And in order for me to get rid of that background without too much work, I'm going to have to make a selection of the model. So to do that, we're going to do the same thing we did before. Quick select because it's fast, not because it's great, because it's quick. So we'll do a quick selection. Select her arm, select the guitar, and the other arm, the other leg. Just trying to make sure we don't miss things here. The neck of the guitar here. Let's make sure we get all those pieces. And sometimes Photoshop will do that. It will start selecting more. It says, oh, you want all this? I'll get all this too. And obviously we don't want all that. So notice that this tool has a plus sign in the middle of it. That means it's adding to the selection. When you want to subtract, you hold down your Option or Alt key. So Option key on the Mac tells it to subtract that from the selection. Option key on the Mac tells it to subtract this part under the guitar from the selection. And if I let go, then I'm back to adding. So subtract this part under the arm, add this part next to the chest there. Okay, so again, this tool is for quick selections, not accurate selections, so it's going to be horrible on things like hair. But that's okay. We got what we needed, which is the outline of the figure that we want. Now the next thing we need to do is go up to this, my favorite button for this is called Refine Edge. When we click Refine Edge, that will show you the image on whatever background you last had it on. So marching ants, red overlay, on black, on white, as a mask, on layers, or not, don't show me a selection. So obviously showing it on layers is kind of cool because you can actually see it on the background that you're compositing it to. So now if we zoom in, we can see what's going on here around the hair. We can see some of that white background in it. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple things. We're going to turn on Smart Radius and just boost our slider up just a little bit. And that teaches Photoshop to soften the edges that should be soft, keep the edges around the shoulders and areas that should be hard. Next, we're going to go to the Refine Edge or Refine Edge tool. And this tool is used to go where the background used to be, which is out here, and basically start painting and saying, nope, I don't want that color throughout this edge. And basically, it will start to remove that color from the edge. And that's the way this technique works. Now, of course, your mileage will vary based on your subject, what your subject's wearing, what kind of background they're on. And I know what people are saying right now. You're cheating. You doing this on a white background. That's so easy. Oh my God. If I only had white backgrounds, then it would be a piece of cake. Well, guess what? As a photographer, if I think I'm going to take something off a background, I shoot it against something that's going to be easy to do. So it takes a little bit of planning sometimes in Photoshop to make life easier. That's not necessarily a cheating, that's just planning ahead. It's making my life easier accordingly. Now, once you get it the way you want, you can use Shift Edge to kind of remove some of that white there. We can also use contrast to kind of get more of that in there. We can decontaminate colors, which also removes some of the reflected color off of our subject. And then, we can keep working, but I think you get the idea. When we click OK, that becomes our new layer. It turned off the old one, which you still have. And that becomes our new layer based on our new selection, our new mask. So we can keep working on the mask. If we wanted to tighten it up, make it better, but you get the idea. Now, one more trick to kind of make this look better, we're going to make an adjustment to it. So we can either add an adjustment layer or just simply go to Image, Adjust, and go to Exposure once again. We're just going to bring down the exposure just a little bit because she's a little lighter than she would be if she were really in that dark kind of, stage background there. And also, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, even her skin tone is not right for this kind of lighting because that's what happens if you shoot two different things and put them together. The lighting usually isn't the same. Now, this is going to be a little technical, but what I want to do is take a piece of this background that's the same shape as her, put it on top of her, and blend it in. So the first thing is I need to get a selection of the background that's exactly like her. And that's easy because now I've got this great mask. And if I didn't have the mask, as long as she was cut out on her own background, that would work as well. But and by the way, this is what she looks like on her own, with nothing behind her. So that is number 8, removing the background. That's how you do it. But we're going to take it up a notch by putting it on a different background. Now, while I've got this mask, I'm going to hold down my Command key on Mac or Control key on Windows and click on it. That tells it to make a selection that's the same shape as everything we just cut out. Now we're going to go to the background and we're just going to make a copy of that background in the shape we just selected. So layer, let's say layer, we want new layer via copy. I'm always doing Command J, so it took me a minute to find it. New layer via copy makes a new layer that is just that. It's just the background of her cut out. Now we're going to take that new layer and drag it all the way up to the top so it's on top of her. And then we're going to take that layer and we can either blend it in, but I kind of like the colors the way they are. I'm just going to simply go set the blending mode from normal to color and then lower the opacity to bring back her original color in a little bit more so that maybe around 20%. This is before, that's after, just kind of toning her down into the same color as the background she is now on. Using this color that we cut out of the background, duplicate it and put it above her. So that would be our finished photo. Just wanted you to have the idea to do that. Now, for those of you who said I cheated, for those of you who said, oh my God, that was so easy, it was on a white background,